At the start of every NFL season, everyone's full of hope. That is, of course, until the games actually start. Just after 4 games, it's clear some players and coaches are no longer in love with their teams, even if the teams that are off to a great start will be disappointed in at least one player or unit. Let's look at every NFL team's biggest early season disappointment. To start with, Arizona Cardinals, H.C. Cliff Kingsbury. For the Arizona Cardinals, it all starts at the top. Even though the team is 2-2, it hasn't been easy. Every week at halftime, the Cardinals have gone down to the locker room. After their loss to the Los Angeles Rams in Week 3, head coach Cliff Kingsbury told reporters, "We've got to get off to a better start. Preparation has a direct effect on how an attack starts. Every member of the staff works on the first drive script, and each game starts with a neutral game script. Still, the Cardinals' offense seems to start off slowly every week." Kyler Murray was angry in the fourth quarter as he helped the Cardinals beat the Carolina Panthers 26-16. If the Cardinals don't get off to better starts, this tension will only get worse. They've been able to get back on track against the Raiders and Panthers, who both had one win. Against better teams, though, it won't be easy to do that. Up next, Atlanta Falcons. T.E. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts was picked as the first tight end ever, and that comes with a lot of high hopes. After making his debut in 2021 with 68 catches for 1,026 yards on a bad team, he hasn't even come close to meeting those goals this year. This season, head coach Arthur Smith has had to defend how he has used the talented tight end. Smith told reporters that the ball would find him after Pitts only caught 3 passes in a loss to the Los Angeles Rams in Week 2. We're still waiting for that game to break out, though. The next week against the Seattle Seahawks, he caught 5 passes for 87 yards, which was a good sign. But against the Cleveland Browns, he caught only 1 pass for 25 yards on 4 targets and was mostly invisible again. Followed by Baltimore Ravens, second half defense. The Baltimore Ravens defense has had too many big breakdowns in the second half. Let's be honest, they can't just blame one player. Nick Veronica of News 4 Buffalo says that the unit blew the biggest and 4th biggest leads in the team's history. For example, they blew a 35-14 lead against the Miami Dolphins, which was the biggest lead they ever blew. In that 42-38 loss, they gave Tua Tagovailoa 4 touchdown passes in just the fourth quarter. Week 4's 23-20 loss to the Buffalo Bills showed that they still couldn't finish games. At one point, they were up 20-3 and did a good job of slowing down Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Bills. But right at the end of the first half, they gave up a touchdown because the offense slowed down and the defense couldn't do its job. NFL research says that Allen was 0-7 in games where he was down by 17 points. Moving on, Buffalo Bills, T.E. Dawson Knox. The Buffalo Bills are 3-1, and the only game they lost was to the Miami Dolphins, in which they had more yards than the Dolphins. Dawson Knox, on the other hand, has had trouble getting going. Last season, he was a big part of the passing game, especially in the end zone. Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, Hunter Henry, and Pat Fremuth were the only tight ends in the top 20 who scored more touchdowns than them last year. 4 games into 2022, Knox still hasn't scored his first touchdown. Josh Allen is thrown to a lot when the Bills are on offense, so it makes sense that his stats don't stand out. The Bills are 10th in the league for the number of touchdowns they score in the end zone. If Knox came back as a red zone weapon, that number would really go up to a very high level. Next, QB Baker Mayfield of the Carolina Panthers. The idea was that trading for Baker Mayfield would be better than trading for Sam Darnold. With the Carolina Panthers, it's clear that he can't bring out the best in the players around him. He hasn't thrown for more than 1 touchdown in a game and has never thrown for more than 200 yards. Matt Rule, the team's head coach, didn't hesitate to put some of the blame on his new quarterback. Rule told reporters that some of it is on Baker being on time and also taking some throws. What was for sure, though, was that the wideouts had to be played much better. Rule comes in second. Under his watch, this team doesn't seem to be getting better, and NFL Network's Tom Pelissero says that they are now 1-26 when the other team scores at least 17 points. Not to mention Chicago Bears QB Justin Fields. Justin Fields is on this list because of mistakes made by the team as a whole, but the quarterback has to get better at some point. The Chicago Bears have not done a good job of protecting their young quarterback. Next Gen Stats says that in Week 4, he was pressured on 50% of his dropbacks. But Fields has more problems than that. As the Ringer's Steven Ruiz pointed out in his latest QB rankings before Week 4, that when Fields actually gets a pass, it's usually not where it needs to be. So it's actually a number of things that are wrong. The numbers prove what Ruiz said. According to Next Gen Stats, through the first week of the season, Fields had the 3rd worst completion percentage over expectations, and he held onto the ball for an average of 3.1 seconds, which was in the bottom 4. Let's look at Cincinnati Bengals. OT La'el Collins. There was a lot of talk about how the Cincinnati Bengals tried to fix their offensive line, which had trouble protecting Joe Burrow in his first 2 NFL games. Alex Kappa and Ted Karras gave them 2 reliable veterans on the inside, and signing La'el Collins after the Dallas Cowboys let him go was supposed to secure one of the 2 important tackle spots. So far, after 4 weeks, it looks like the Cowboys may have been smart to get rid of the 29-year-old. Sports Info Solutions says that Collins has blown 6 blocks, been called for 3 penalties, and let 2 sacks happen, but the veteran tackle was listed for the first time with a back injury on the injury report. He was hurt in his hip and missed all of 2020 and 5 games in 2021. So far, he hasn't missed any time in 2022 because of his back, but there's a chance that will change soon. Coming up, Cleveland Browns, DC Joe Woods. The Cleveland Browns have everything they need to make a good defense. Still, it's been 4 weeks and they haven't done it. In the end, it comes down to the coach, who wasn't able to make the most of the players' skills. Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney missed Week 4, which would be hard for any team to make up for, but ESPN ranks the Browns' defense as the 28th best in the league. Joe Woods has had 2 seasons to work out his best defense and coverages. The Browns have regularly missed up their coverage and allowed huge plays like Olamide Zaccheaus' 42-yard reception in Week 4. Even worse for Woods and the defense was that the Falcons were able to run the ball well. At 5.8 yards per carrying, Atlanta ran for more than 200 yards. Next, Dallas Cowboys, WR Jalen Tolbert. It might not be fair to call a third-round rookie disappointing 4 weeks into his career, but Jalen Tolbert has not been able to make the most of what was a good situation. In theory, everything was in place for the South Alabama product to get off to a good start. Michael Gallup didn't come back from his torn ACL until Week 4, and James Washington hurt his foot in training camp and hasn't played yet. After trading Amari Cooper and letting Cedric Wilson Jr. leave in free agency, the Cowboys used their second-day pick to get the receiver. It made sense to think that he would start to help right away. Instead, he hasn't been important at all. He only has 1 catch for 4 yards, and in Week 4, he was a healthy scratch. Finally, Denver Broncos HC Nathaniel Hackett. During the offseason, Denver Broncos hired Nathaniel Hackett and also traded for Russell Wilson, so it was thought that the two would take the offense to new heights. But so far, it's been a failure to launch. In Week 4, when they played the Raiders in Las Vegas and lost 32-23, the Broncos scored their most points of the season. This was literally their first win for their AFC West rivals. Not only has Hackett not found a way to score with Wilson at quarterback and an arsenal of skill players that included Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams, and Jerry Jeudy, but he also struggled with managing the game. Wilson hasn't been doing great either, but at least he's been showing signs of being himself again. Wilson has shown that he can still be what the Broncos were hoping for, but sadly, Hackett has not. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about these NFL teams' biggest early season disappointments? Let us know in the comments below. Also, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like these. We'll see you in the next one.